Celebrate the stories, the stars and the spirit of Greece on the big screen. The 30th Greek Film Festival with screenings between October 14 to 26. Experience a spectacular lineup of films including retrospectives of classics like Rebetiko and Dogtooth, tributes to Sydney's own filmmakers, and a special focus on Greek cinema legends like Renos Charalambidis and Pantelis Voulgaris. Don't miss the latest international standouts, The Return with Ralph Fiennes, Maria with Angelina Jolie, and incredible new films from Greece and Cyprus. Tickets are on sale now. Visit greekfilmfestival.com.au/Sydney to secure yours today. There's no ouzo talk without a bottle of ouzo, which is why we love the Greek Providor. Get a real taste of the very best produce that Greece has to offer. From olive oils and delicious artisan sweets to unique spirits, earthy herbs and memorable wines. Visit thegreekprovidor.com.au to see their amazing range. The Greek Providor, proud sponsors of the Ouzo Talk podcast.
Sound is.
Nick Athanasiou, welcome back to another episode of Ouzo Talk, and as ever, we have done it again. We've got another fantastic guest from across the diaspora, someone who is making waves not just in the digital space, but he's been making waves in the political space as well.
Yeah, look, unbelievable guest. And look, the funny thing was, while me and you were getting ready to celebrate the Summer Olympics in Sydney in the year 2000, our guest was born.
We're showing our age now. I was in year 7 at that point, so you're a little bit older than I am. So we've got 3 different generations happening in this podcast today.
Brilliant. It's going to be brilliant. No, look, this guest is fantastic. We've been watching him for, the last 10, 15, 20 years now.
I mean,
Sorry, I shouldn't say that.
Not 20 years. No, look, he's one of those people that we've all seen through social media and on YouTube and whatnot. And, to your point, we were talking off air and we were just like, oh shit, making the connection. That's him, the guy that's now, in the political space, Anyway, beside the point, he's actually been mentioned by the Cypriot ambassador on this show.
Definitely.
In the last year as well. But we've only got him for a short amount of time. So let's get into it. I'm going to introduce him. So our guest today is one of the most talked about figures in both European politics and the digital world, from attempting to hug 100 celebrities like Elon Musk to living out challenges that push the boundaries of creativity. He's built a loyal audience on YouTube who have followed his journey from a curious creator making headlines to now being an unlikely political figure, because in 2024, he made headlines by becoming one of Cyprus's newest members of the European Parliament. His unexpected rise from content creator to MEP has sparked conversations about youth engagement, authenticity in politics, and the power of social media to inspire real-world change. Joining us live from Strasbourg today is YouTuber and member of the European Parliament, Fidias Panayiotou. Welcome, Fidias.
Hello, guys. Nice to meet you guys. A pleasure to be here. We can talk anything you want about sex, about drugs, about politics.
Sex, drugs, and rock and roll, Fantastic. Our favorite subjects.
There you go.
Well, just on that, if we're going to talk sex, drugs, and rock and roll, what music do you listen to start off with?
That's a bad question to ask me because I don't really know. It's just specific songs that I like and I just listen to them. So I don't really understand if it's hip hop, if it's rock and roll. So I'm a bad... sorry, guys, for this horrible answer, but it's true.
Let's just say that you're eclectic in your choice in music. You like a wide array of things. Let's leave it at that. But look, it's fantastic to have you here. Most importantly, let's get it out on the table first. In your mind, are you a YouTuber or a politician?
I think I'm both. It's a combination of both that I think is the killer combination, because like every politician is dreaming to have like an audience to speak to and to influence with their ideas the world. So I have that, and also I have the position, the politician position. I can actually affect some things, and when it's a combination of both, it gives you a lot of things. Like, it gives you, first of all, the perception of power, and with the perception of power, makes you, people think that you have more power than you actually have. You can do a lot of stuff with perception of power as well, but it can give you a lot of stuff also in the political spectrum as well, in the political place, because what politics is, it's all about give and take. So a lot of people, they want to make a podcast with me because they will get millions of views, or they want to make a video with me, or they want me to teach them about social media, or there is like everyone is like politicians love publicity. Like they are how they are surviving to stay politicians. So yeah, it's very useful because I can give and take. I can get a lot of things. So these like influencer, this YouTuber kind of gave me a lot more power inside the political world as well. So the combination of both, I think, is good. And I feel both. I still feel like a YouTuber and influencer, and I feel a politician as well.
There's so much that I want to ask, though, because I mean, I can't help but think that, you know, you are probably, and you kind of mentioned this in your episode with Nigel Farage as well, like that kind of reach from the social media is something that politicians could only dream of at the time, and utilizing that in the way that he did, I think, to begin with, and that you have, but from the other way around, it must be really empowering for you to be able to see that. And I got the impression that he was a little bit envious of that as well.
That's interesting. Like, no joke. Probably Nigel Farage achieved with the social media and all this stuff. For his age, he's good at it. He's uploading all this stuff, and the way that he speaks and the simplicity of his words and all this stuff. He achieved to the Brexit. I don't know if I agree with the Brexit. I don't agree with the Brexit as a European, but he achieved to get an entire country, the UK, out of UK, and he was the biggest reason for this. So because he was in the parliament, he understood the parliament, he knew how to manipulate the media. But like, guys, like, no joke, the information war is the most important war that we have now. Like, I understand this is not a joke. Like, controlling the narrative and like being able to put your message out is the most important thing now, because with that you can have people stay in power or leave power. Like, it's like who is elections we have, so people are voting and they decide who will be. So the information war is the most important war. And I might be immature, stupid, 25-year-old, but I figured how to play this information game very well because of my previous expertise in the YouTube and all this stuff, because it was my day job to get attention online, to get money, to get paid, and to yeah, I have this, I don't know, people said this, when you combine two industries together, you can make a lot of innovations. Like when you, like, for example, with the space industry, for example, and Elon Musk was using his expertise of Tesla and the manufacturing and all this stuff, he achieved to make SpaceX. And like when you combine two industries together, you can really use some things from one industry and put in the other, and you can really make innovation here. And I think the way that I'm operating, not the stuff that I'm saying, but the way that I'm operating with this information and politics, I think is something very unique that we never saw with our politicians. And like, for example, in my elections, I was doing live streams. Like I was going to villages and I was doing live streams in the villages in Cyprus. And like, we see these like biggest, like, I don't know if you know him, I Show Speed.
Yes.
He's the biggest live streamer now in the world. And like, I was doing what he was doing, but for politics. So it's like when you combine two industries together, it's like you can make miracles with innovation. So yeah.
Wow.
Well, that's a fantastic way for us to start, and really great insight. But before we get any deeper, let's do the honors, Nick. Let's get into the episode properly, yeah?
Definitely. Let's have a drink.
Yamas. Welcome, Fidias. Great to have you here. And Nick,
you are actually drinking ouzo, right?
We are drinking vodka
Well,
today.
today
believe
we're
it or not.
drinking a Greek vodka. In winter, we have a Cypriot, Cyprus, Ivania. We stick at that. However, it is a warm day today, isn't it, Tom?
It is. It's getting much warmer here today, so the weather's it's changing, so we've got to change the drinks up too.
We've transitioned. We're going ouzo, but today we've got this Bluna vodka from our sponsor, the Greek Providor. Fantastic. It's probably my favourite vodka now.
Is it really?
We've had half a glass.
It's very nice. It's
going down well.
I swear we're straight at the moment. We haven't been drinking yet. Usually by this point we're we must have teza, but we out of respect to you, we thought we'd probably keep it straight.
We will keep it straight. But yeah, look, thank you to the GreekProvidor.com.au, supply all our alcohol, and look, Crystal, it's great. The vodka you've supplied, fantastic.
Yes, thank you to the Greek Providor. So now let's start with the basics. I mean, where are you actually from?
Yeah, I am from Menigo, a village in Nicosia, which has 1,000 population, 1,000 people population. It's a very small village, and I grew up in a very loving family. We're 6 siblings. My father is a priest. And I consider the coolest family in the world, and I grew up with a lot of love from my parents and my family. Lots of fighting as well because we were 6 siblings, but that's kind of the background. And I went to public school. When I went to the army, I went to the Navy SEAL part of the army, and then I started traveling a bit because I wanted to see the world, but I didn't want to see the world with my father's money or my mother's money. Not that they had a lot of money, but I didn't want to ask them for money. So I went to travel to 6-7 countries with no money. So I was sleeping in the sleeping bag. I was asking people to host me in their houses. There is applications like couch surfing and all these things. I was sneaking inside trains and buses to go from one place to another. Not very proud of that now, but I am. It was very fun.
Well, one thing I really enjoyed, you used to trade stuff. Like you had an egg, sugar cube, marbles, and you'd start out and you trade it to get amazing products. How did you come up with ideas like that?
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Celebrate the stories, the stars and the spirit of Greece on the big screen. The 30th Greek Film Festival with screenings between October 14 to 26. Experience a spectacular lineup of films including retrospectives of classics like Rebetiko and Dogtooth, tributes to Sydney's own filmmakers, and a special focus on Greek cinema legends like Renos Charalambidis and Pantelis Voulgaris. Don't miss the latest international standouts, The Return with Ralph Fiennes, Maria with Angelina Jolie, and incredible new films from Greece and Cyprus. Tickets are on sale now. Visit greekfilmfestival.com.au/Sydney to secure yours today. There's no ouzo talk without a bottle of ouzo, which is why we love the Greek Providor. Get a real taste of the very best produce that Greece has to offer. From olive oils and delicious artisan sweets to unique spirits, earthy herbs and memorable wines. Visit thegreekprovidor.com.au to see their amazing range. The Greek Providor, proud sponsors of the Ouzo Talk podcast.
Well, it's the YouTube game. It's trial and error. You see something that worked. I think I did something in the beginning and it got 40 million views. So I was like, okay, I will do more of this because this is how social media works. When something works, you try to replicate it. The first it was a sugar cane, the other one it was a paper clips, then it was stupid things. And I did this 3-4 times. The thing. Also, I did it with bigger items. I traded $1 VR to an Apple Vision Pro, and this is the kind of sometimes pointless, but when you think about it. It's just for views, but it was always when I was doing stuff, it was not just for views. I wanted always to have an underlying message. It's if you start, because a lot of people don't have money. So it's if you see that you can get one thing and go to the public and just trade up to things and sell things and make money and it's shows that it's possible. Also with the I was traveling across countries with no money. So it was, the underlying message was to show, because the media are showing us all this bad negativity of the world, that there is always wars, there is all this killing of people and all this stuff. And like, to be honest, these are just, if you narrow down very specific things about humanity, the everyday humans, like when you meet in the streets, like they're kind, they are helpful. Like you rarely find something bad happening in front of you in the streets, like for a fighting or something. So the everyday normal. And I wanted to make these videos to show the kindness in the world. And I was successful because I was getting like 5-10 million views to each video. And it was traveling across India, for example, and I was not only showing the kindness of people, but sharing the cultures and all this stuff. Of course, I was doing illegal things. I was sneaking inside bus and trains to get through the way. But that was kind of the way that I was packaging to get views. It was more the underlying message of kindness. So that's, and then after I did all these things, I made a video for fun to run as a member of the European Parliament. But I deep down wanted to do it because it was the right thing to do, because I thought, like, I hate politics. They never made me excited. No one politician made me excited about politics, and I have distrust in the system. I don't trust the politicians. The government, I don't think, is doing stuff in my interest. So I was saying, if I am not doing something to change it, that why I'm expecting others to do something to change it. So it's like, if like I saw a quote that I liked, and it was like, if you want to change the world, be the change, make the change happen. So kind of this is the concept, and I ran into politics. I took it very seriously, because anything that I do, I take it very seriously. When I put a goal, I'm happy to say that it was never a goal that I actually put and I didn't achieve. So first it was to travel. First it was to finish the Navy SEALs, which is a very hard thing to do. I did it. Then it was the travel thing, to travel around the world with no money. And then it was the YouTuber. And then it was the politics. So I don't know, maybe I'm not putting high enough goals, and that's a problem, because if I'm achieving everything that I set my mind to. But yeah, that's kind of my background.
Amazing.
Yeah, brilliant. Look, you've left a few things out which you wanted to touch on, but look, you threw a party at a random person's house. You tried to marry a stranger within 24 hours, which was hilarious. However, one of the biggest things that you did that we enjoyed immensely, you wanted to hug Elon Musk, and it took you 3 months, but true to your true grit, you actually got it done. So what was that like? Talk us through that process of what you did, and what was it like when you actually met him?
When you are in social media, you are trying to get views. So you are trying to get attention. So you need to, like, if you have like the world's most famous person and richest person in the mix, like, it will attract attention, even if you are a nobody like me, like I was. I had like almost 800,000 followers, which is not something very special. So I personally, I was very inspired by Elon Musk. Like, I consider him one of the biggest educators of mine, like mentors in a way. I never met him, but I saw every talk that he uploaded online and all this stuff, and I started understanding him, his mindset, how he thinks from first principles, that he always like digs into the root cause of the problem, and he doesn't listen to other people, what they're saying and how it's been done, and he always asks the fundamental question, how this can be improved, and like not what has been done before and all these things. So I learned a lot of things from him, so I wanted to meet him. So like I told you, I was doing stuff that I wanted to do that will have also impact in the world. So I decided to go. And the only way to meet him was to go and like put social pressure on him to force him to meet me, because he actually didn't care to meet me, apparently. I made a video every single day with a video of my life, And I was making like, today I'm sleeping my sleeping bag outside SpaceX, and it's day 1. And then it was day 10, I bought a car and I was sleeping in my car outside SpaceX. And day 20, like there is a lot of people coming and encouraging me because of the millions of views. Day 30, nothing is happening. I start getting demotivated. Elon buys Twitter, and like I said, fuck, he will never come down to SpaceX for the next 2 months. So I moved outside X at the time, and I was sleeping there in the beginning in the sleeping bag. Then I find some place that it was a stranger that helped me with his house that he had in the neighborhood. So I was sleeping in his couch. Anyway, so I was 24/7 out there because for me, I don't really care. Like for me, life is just a beautiful game. And whatever I put my mind, I will do it. Like imagine you guys like being days 50 and you are thinking, okay, should I continue or you will never do it? And it's like you are losing money on the process because I was stopped making long videos. I was just making short videos, which at the time they were not paid a lot of money. Yeah? So it was not very sustainable, but I don't know. A miracle happened. Like after probably a lot of people asked him about this because it got like billions of views in the end. And like kids in Qatar, when he went to, it was the Mundial, the finals in Qatar, and kids were asking him in Qatar to hug me and all this stuff. And finally he agreed to do it, which was amazing for me. Imagine you being 70 days out, 69 days outside, and for me, you see, this is the underlying message. Like, I know it's fucking stupid, a hack from the world's richest person, who cares or whatever, but like, it's the underlying message. Like, if you, and that it teaches probably 50, 100 million people, like if you want something and you continue and you keep changing feedback loop to improve your videos and all, and you stick to it, what's going to happen? It was not about it's something stupid, it's something, and like showing the world that is when you don't quit. So that was my primary I wanted to quit, I didn't want to do it, but I was thinking always what I'm teaching the world is good to quit. So that's why I continued. That's kind of, I took the longest version of the explanation of the story.
No,
but yeah,
that's fine.
That's great.
Look, you're determined, determined, resilience. I like the underlying message as well, which makes for a good politician, which was a good segue, I guess.
There's a couple of themes that are already sort of standing out for me in the sense that you are obviously very determined, but there's a lot of ingenuity there as well and resourcefulness. I'm guessing some of that would come with having 6 siblings and growing up in such a large family. But in your opinion, where does that sort of ingenuity come from?
It's more about test and learn, like really. It's being okay to fail. And like the first video that I did when I did the vlog outside, for example, Elon Musk thing, it was not as good. But then when you do 20, you see the patterns and you know what works. So it's basically being able to pivot, test and pivot fast, test and pivot fast. Like, and the same thing with the elections. Like I was, it's not a nice thing to say for a politician, but I will explain you what was the process. Like, you understand the blueprint, but I would give you an example. But basically you try and pivot until you get close to the result that you want. So with the elections, I did, when I ran as a member of the European Parliament, never an independent person won the European election. So I was, it was most likely that I will not win because never anyone did it. The highest votes that someone got independent was like 2,000, and you needed like 50,000 to get elected as an independent. So anyways, what I did with the elections, it was I started uploading videos, the first video, the second video, and I saw real-time test policies. So I saw that me against the system videos, like that the corruption, all this stuff, People love it. And then I was making one video about my stance on immigration, and it was polarizing people. So I was saying, okay, let's focus on the fucking things that actually work. So it's like, instead of hiring companies and to tell you what policies are working with the people so you can start saying to your debates and all this stuff, I had the social media and I could easily test and learn instantly with social media. I could test, upload a video, get thousands of comments, and see if people like and are on board with this policy or with this idea or not. So basically, by the end, I was a master of what works and what don't work. So I knew, okay, basically don't have any political stance. Just be against the system. And just show what you are capable of doing with the past that you proved in the past as well. So I was doing I ran a half marathon. I ran the entire country from one side to the other, and I was trying to be useful. I was not trying to manipulate anyone. I was trying to be useful. I was trying it was the elections, and we were doing a campaign for people to sign in to register to vote, because it's not automatic register to vote. So I said, let's break the world record of registering to vote. And with my power of social media, we did it. And I ran across the country with a T-shirt, registered to vote. It was 85 kilometers. And it took me 12 hours. So this stuff showed kind of the commitment that I'm not fucking joking. I'm here. I'm going to suffer. I'm going to... So anyway, this is kind of the method that I'm using. Whatever the new endeavor is, the fastest you can start and the fastest you can fail to figure things out, the fastest you will learn. And people hate it when I say it about politics, because they say, politics, you're not allowed to fail. We are talking about the future of our society. But fuck, if you don't fail in anything, you don't do anything. You are not trying at all if you don't fail. So you need to be open. Of course, you're not going to be stupid with your attempts. But this is what's missing from politics. That's why they are stagnated and there's no innovation. Politics is like that for 150 years because nobody dares to... not 150, less, 100 years, 50 years.
It's interesting, though, because effectively what you've done, or what you've just described really, is that you've hacked the concept of the Gallup poll by using social media as the analytic tool to be able to really understand what's important. And when you couple that, Nick, I think with what Fidias has been saying, throughout his campaigns, and, the idea that I know nothing to start with, I feel like that's a very powerful message for a politician.
Definitely. And the other thing as well, it's an unconventional way. So you're attracting an audience, which are a young demographic, but you're going in an unconventional way, not a traditional way, and it's working for you.
Yeah, and also it's no way to beat this, because the political parties are trying to stop me, but they are used to, how do you stop another politician, another political party? You just say bad things about them in the media. Whenever they say bad things about me in the media, I cut a clip and I upload it on my social media with them saying bad things about me. And then people are starting to say, it's like a football. You pick your team, you pick a side and you start. So I'm using their strategies against them. And there's no way to beat this. So poor other parties. The best thing that they can do is to ignore me, but I'm difficult to ignore with all this attention and all these votes that I got.
I'm actually really enjoying the social media clips that you're putting, on Instagram and whatnot, where you're showing almost like behind the scenes with journalists and talking to politicians around the EU Parliament. Was that a conscious choice by you to say, I'm trying to be as transparent as possible? Or was that more about, I just know that this works and it's a way of showing truth in a very real way?
Well, for me, I came into the European Parliament with not knowing anything about the European Parliament. Yeah. So for me, it was like I have a unique opportunity to share my learning while I'm learning and whatever I'm learning with millions of people, because the EU is like a closed black box that only the elites here understand. So I wanted to open this black box to everyone. But I knew that doing this will not only, because transparency wins trust. I knew that this will not only, I will not only win the trust of the people that I will make the videos for, and this is good for humanity to do, for someone to explain what the fuck the European Union is and whatever the European Parliament does, because not a lot of people knew before. Like only 3 to 5% of people of each country, I think they understand a bit more about the European politics, or they at least know who is the president of the European Commission and how the European Union functions. Like, but this stuff are important because the European Union it actually controls more than 50% of the policies that we have in member states of the 27 countries. So I thought that it was important for me to do this. But, you know, another thing that I had an intuition is like, I'm coming to a new place here. Nobody knows me from there, and nobody trusts me, because when I came here in the European Parliament, people expected from me that I will start being naked and like be a clown in the European Parliament and just try to get views. So I needed to win their trust also here, the members of the European Parliament. And like, how do you win their trust? Like now, a lot of the members of the European Parliament, they come and they ask me to meet their kids because they know me from their kids. So it's like, and they see that I'm putting the truth out, like with transparent, what is happening and the behind the scenes. And like, they trust me because they see that not trust me, not everyone, but I want kind of, I think, because I do a lot of controversial things as well. Like I go to Russia and I'm just trying to have peace, which is not very popular in the European Union, the peace with Russia situation. They want to be in war with Russia. But anyways, apart from this, I have the majority of the people like me. And they are kind of okay, you have this minus thing that you want to support Russia and like, but it's okay. So I won the trust of, I think, the institution overall. So that was a good byproduct of this endeavor. So yeah, also like for now, because I'm doing it in Cyprus, people are very happy because now they know a bit what is going on in the European Parliament. They didn't know for so many years that we are 25 years in the European, 21 years in the European Union, and they didn't know how the institutions work. They didn't know what is happening inside. They didn't know their salaries. They didn't know anything. So now when I go in the streets, people are very happy with me because they say that I'm their little spy in the European Parliament. So yeah, it was a cool thing, I think, at the end of the day to do it. And I continue doing it. And like we get more and more like, but it's not the way to get views, of course, because this is the most boring thing ever, like to talk about the European institutions. But we achieved to get 2 billion views so far talking about this boring thing. So yeah. And also it's a huge responsibility. I'm just a fucking kid, 25 years old, and I control what the public thinks of the European Parliament. I control a bit of that. So it's like a huge responsibility for a kid like me to have. Yeah. But I have a good team that they are not kids. So
sure. Well, that's the thing. You keep on hitting on your age. Look, you sound very mature for a 25-year-old, and you're teaching the masses, young generation of politics and what European Parliament's all about. So you don't underestimate your age at all. Like I've learnt so much listening to you. I'm half your age. Sorry, double your age. Age the other way. You're half my age.
You are 12?
I act 12. Yeah.
It's his mental age.
But no, look, it's brilliant. What you're doing, keep it up.
Let's seize, though. I mean, you mentioned the trip to Russia. Obviously, you did visit Russia earlier in the year in the name of diplomacy, and you received a lot of criticism for that, as you mentioned. Tell us a little bit about how that trip came about and, why you thought it was important to do that.
Like, we need to speak about the bigger picture if we're going to talk about this topic, because of course I don't know. I came and didn't know about politics, but slowly I read a lot of books. I see a lot of podcasts with a lot of people that I trust. I also met a lot of people that teach me, like Jeffrey Sachs and stuff about this stuff. This was, I think, a manufactured war, a proxy war from the United States that wanted to happen between Europe and Russia. Why the United States does want this war? I think they want because they don't want Russia to be powerful. They don't want the EU to be powerful, and they want to divide and rule. So they want us to fight together and to get weapons from them, so they get richer. So I think this is not in our interest. Of course, I don't support the invasion of Ukraine, but this is how the world works. Like, if you are a big power, it's not a democracy. It's like whoever is, like United States, how many wars they started? They started a lot of wars, but because they are the hegemony, they've been the biggest power in the world. Nobody is telling them anything. So this is how the world works. I'm not saying I like it, but this is how the world works. So when Russia was threatened by NATO that they are going to put NATO bases next to their borders, make the correlation with United States. If we say if China came and put military bases in Canada, in their borders, like would United States accept? I doubt that the United States were going to accept. So I understand a bit the perspective of Russia, but that doesn't justify an invasion. But what I'm saying, like, what do we want as Europeans? Like, I think now with the world that is moving to China becoming a rising power and probably will overcome the power of the United States in the near future, you want to have power. So how do you have power? Is first of all not have war, because war is you are losing power and you are losing money and it's very costly. You are losing people as well. So I am envisioning this is an ideal scenario, but a Europe with Russia, not without Russia, not to be war with Russia, because Russia is a European, like the culture and all these things. And in a world we are united with Russia, or if we are not, if Russia is not inside the European Union, maybe we have very good diplomatic ties and with trade and all this stuff. I imagine a world that will make Europe a lot more powerful and not as independent to the United States and not as independent to China. And we are going to be kind of three big powers in the system, because now United States controls us basically, because they pay for the military and they control NATO and all this stuff, where they can have a lot of negotiation leverage on us. And we saw this with Ursula von der Leyen tariff deal. It was a disaster for Europe. So because they have so much power on us, the United States, they can bully us and but that's why we need to stand up in our feet and start diplomatic ties, stop having the war, because in the war, actually the sanctions that we have were in the 19th package of sanctions to Russia. They don't work. Russia's GDP is better, is improving. We're pushing Russia towards not us, but to China. We're making this alliance a lot stronger, and to India. And we are becoming weaker. And like with the gas and that were oil from China and all this, with oil that we're buying from Russia and Nord Stream that was blowing up and all this, these stuff are hurting the economy of Europe, like Germany, big time and all this stuff. So I'm just saying that I think we should rethink how is our foreign policy. We should stop the war. And that's why I decided to, because it's a very weird thing to say this in the European Parliament. It was a weird thing to say this because it was before Trump got elected and all these things. Because after Trump got elected and that was saying that peace in the war in Ukraine, this became a bit more normal, but not as normal as we want this in the European Parliament. So, we decided with other members of the European Parliament, it was another 3, to go and show that we need to start some diplomatic efforts. And I was very amazed. I met the head of the Duma, the parliament of Russia, and he was very, very happy to meet us. He was they want normal relationships with EU now. They want to start negotiating. They were very happy to see us. So I was very welcomed there by the Russians. We of course paid for our flights. We didn't want them to use any money. We didn't went to the military parade when we went there. We were very respectful. But Russia, we went there also and we went to give flowers to this memorial day because it was against the Nazis in the Second World War. When it was the biggest they lost a lot of people, the Soviet Union, to this war. So it's like, we felt that it was necessity. But it got a lot of backlash, guys. I'm not going to lie. People, at least for a month, they were scared to talk to me. They thought I'm a Russian asset, everyone in the comments and all this stuff. But I don't really care. What I believe, I try to act upon it.
So in your view, do you think most of the members of the parliament agree that Europe should be sorting out the issue with Russia? Do they really need America involved? Can't Russia and Europe come to some sort of agreement? Because it does. You just said a lot of stuff that means a lot of it's common sense. Is this the number one topic now in the European Parliament?
Well, it is. We discuss it a lot, but it's not that I don't understand their perspective. I'm just saying that they don't see the bigger picture and what is happening, the real consequences, and that also now we support them, Ukraine, and now every day Russia is getting more and more territory, so we're losing. So we need to cut our losses short and start to think realistic. But what their perspective is like it is an invasion. And we need to support the right of Ukraine to fight back, and we support, which is very logical. I'm not saying that they're stupid and they're doing this, but like I just see the bigger picture. And when you see the bigger picture that we are losing, we're pushing Russia further away and all this stuff, like it makes sense for me to stop this war ASAP, because let's stop the people dying, first of all, and let's also see what's the best for Europe. Not for what's the best for United States, what's the best for Europe.
Yeah, look.
But you understand, there is a lot of people, there is the majority, like there is 500 votes every time that support to keep sending weapons, and we are like more or less 100 people out of the MEPs that we support to stop.
Yeah,
we're 720, but sometimes they don't come, all of them. We vote around 650, 600, so yeah.
Okay, so I saw one of your one of your podcasts with Dimitri Laskaris, and he raised some concerns around the amount of Israelis flooding into Cyprus, along with Cyprus could be a potential target because of the Akrotiri air base you have, which was sending bombing raids to the Middle East. What's your view on that, and how accurate is all that?
I didn't develop yet a view because I'm in the research point still. I'm trying to understand the data. I'm trying to understand both sides. I'm meeting with some Israelis as well to understand their perspective in Cyprus as well. I'm trying to understand the facts here. Sure. I'm trying to understand their perspective. But I'm not sure if this is what we want. First of all, we need to be clear what they're trying to do. Are they trying to do neighborhoods in Cyprus and like conquer the entire neighborhoods and like just live there like a Jewish community? Is this what they're trying to do exactly? If this is it, like, do we want this to happen? Like, because this will bring a lot of conflict and like divides. Like if we're not, I'm not against Israelis coming if they are investing, if they are legally coming, all this stuff, but they should be like able to associate themselves from the Cypriots and like build communities. I think this is a thin line, so we need to think about this a lot more. Also, about the military bases that you mentioned, I think this is a problem. Like, I don't want the military bases of UK to be in Cyprus. We need to find a way to get them out, because I don't want to be complicit in a genocide, that to be supporting with NATO troops and all this stuff, what the Israel government is doing. And a lot of planes are going from there, the Akrotiri military base. So we need to find a way, like, to kick the military bases out of Cyprus. It's not an easy thing to do, but I don't know. Now UK is not in the most powerful state that it was ever. So, yeah, maybe they want as well to retrieve from, I don't know, it's very good geographic location, but...
I guess just for the purpose of our listeners, so Akrotiri is that a sovereign British city or area, or is it still part of Cyprus? Who runs the
I think
airbase?
in the constitution there is a law. When you go there is a British law. It's not cool. It's not cool for other countries to control and have military, because, like Laskar is explaining me, if they are attacking other countries, if they are using these military bases to harm different countries, like, I don't know, Qatar or whatever, they maybe the other countries will have, I don't know, the right to strike the Cyprus thing, because if there's not, so you understand, it's a con, not they will have the right, like, hypothetically we're talking here. So so it's a thing that we need to actually take into consideration and start thinking about it. But I did this video I did a video to test also the waters with the Cyprus population. They are behind this. They don't want it, but, like, we have a bigger problem. Our island is divided, and it's with the Turkish invasion in 1974, and it's occupied the 38% of the island. So we need to focus our efforts also on that, because that's a bigger problem. So one thing at a time. There is a lot of problems that we have. Among the problems that we have is on the top priority that not a lot of people are talking about, the birth rate. We are, as Cypriots, Greek Cypriots, we are getting extinct, because in 50 years, 100 years, we're going to be a lot less. 1.3 birth rate, every couple that is making 1.3 children is not going to be able to replace ourselves, to even be in the same population. So it's a problem. Cyprus can't facilitate more people. Like, we want to grow and become 2 million population, 1.5, 2 million population. And it is a problem, this one. So we need to give more incentives to the people to have more kids. Another important problem that we face in Cyprus is the rent. I think this is a European problem. And we need to find some, like, kids in my age, like, I'm fortunate with financial situation, but, like, to rent in Limassol or where I am, you need 1,500 euros. Like, it's a lot of money. Like, even if both of the people work and they bring, like, I don't know, even minimum salary 1,000, the rent is a lot higher. So that's why we have in Cyprus families that they are been living with their parents, and there is 3-4 kids, and there are 3-4 kids, they are living with their husbands, their daughters, or with their wife, or they are inside of the same house of their parents. And we have some houses in Cyprus that 20 people live in because they have kids. No, that's serious. Yeah. That's a serious problem, because they cannot afford to go and make a family. So they make a room, and they make space, extra spaces, and all this stuff in houses. So, but this is a European problem. So we need to find some ways to fix this. And, like, I'm a politician, I should participate in the fixing of this. So we need to give more. By the way, guys, as you are probably understand, I'm not very powerful. I cannot do these things. I can talk about them. I can put pressure, but it's like I'm one member of the 720 of the European Party. I don't have the majority. I'm just an outlier here. So I cannot fix this stuff. I can only talk about them. I can just do some minor things through some committees that I am, some amendment that will probably bring 1 million more to Cyprus, which is important, but like it's nothing on the end of things. So just
But I think the
underline here
awareness
that
is good. The more you talk about it, the awareness is a good thing. So you look, some
but
great
just to
things.
finalize, what's the solution for this housing problem? Also in Europe, maybe we need to, how the economy works is supply and demand. So if you have a lot more people interested to build houses, if you give them incentives as a government, like tax breaks and all this stuff, they will build more houses. So prices will drop. So we need to find some of these solutions because it's a big problem. So you need to kind of manufacture some solutions with the intervention of the government, which I don't like the government to be interfering to stuff. I'm like, the less government, the smaller government, and the less the government does for the people is better, because anyway, government is the least effective thing ever.
I've got to say, I can't wait to read your white paper on how you're going to incentivize people to have more children. I mean, I can just imagine, like, are we gonna be taxing condoms in future, or what are some of the more creative ways?
Well, I understand you got engaged recently as well. So.
Yes, first of all, I'm going to try with my own example. I'm going to try to have 6 kids.
Fantastic.
We need to rethink this, maybe not on the first kid, but when you have your second and third and fourth and fifth and sixth, 200 euros for each kid that you have, like something like this. Because think about it, how much contribution is to bring one human Cypriot to the society? They will pay taxes, you are going to get your money back. Anyways, from the 200 that you are going to give, half of them, a good portion of you, it's going to go back to the government because of the taxes and the circulation of money and all this stuff. So, and you are going to have one human contributing for 100 years in the community. So you are going to make your money back. So it should be a lot stronger investments on this area. So I don't know. I just gave you an example.
Yeah,
I need to think a lot about this, but like
there was something recently that I read that the Greek government, Mitsotakis, is looking at introducing these tax breaks for women who have more than, I think it's 2, or the more kids you have, the less or zero tax you pay for the rest of your life.
Also, Hungary did this. Correct. And I think this is anything to this direction is good. Anything that it gives incentives to people, because like you need to understand, incentives is how you structure society. Like whatever incentive you are going to give, if it's the right incentive, so you need to be very thoughtful on what incentives you're going to put, because maybe you produce the exact opposite result. I will give you an example. There is, I don't know, this Combra effect. And I think in India, I think is a real example. In India, they had a lot of snakes. So they said, okay, we need to get rid of the snakes. So we're going to put each snake you bring us dead, we're going to give to you money. So this, hypothetically, is the right incentive, but actually the opposite happened. People went to breed snakes in their houses, and they gave it to the government, and then they were full of snakes.
More snakes.
So you need to be very thoughtful, and maybe some testing and see other examples that it happened, and every culture is different. So you need to be thoughtful on the incentives.
I want to sort of close this out by asking the question. You mentioned, obviously, one of the biggest issues facing Cyprus in particular is the division of the island. Now, our understanding is that both Greek and Turkish Cypriots on the ground want peace and unity. The situation on the ground in Cyprus now, from your perspective... Most, yes.
Most. Still the majority, but it's shrinking.
It's shrinking. Okay. Well, that's what I wanted to ask. What is the sentiment on the ground about unification of the island, and how do the people on the ground actually feel about it?
I don't know. I don't know. It's a very difficult topic, because when you go and the political parties in Cyprus, most of the other parties agree for this bi-communal federation solution. But when you ask the regular people, They don't fucking understand what is this, what would be the solution, and they're probably not for this solution. So because they don't understand, probably my sense is that the majority doesn't want this solution. As I understand it, maybe we need to explain. This is what I did as well. I'm trying to explain what this solution is. I did a podcast with the two negotiators that was also a podcast, also an event, and I'm trying to enlighten people what is this solution looks like. But it's a very important topic. And I need to learn more about this. I need to find a way. For now, I'm doing in the European Union. I'm trying to put pressure into Turkey. I'm trying to stop some ties with Turkey because we're buying weapons from Turkey and it doesn't really make sense. Like Turkey is the occupying territory in Cyprus, which is a member state of the European Union, and we're buying weapons from the people that are our enemy. Does this make sense? So I'm trying to do this part. Also, I'm trying to also draw some distinctions to show the madness of the EU. Like, for example, now we had some talk about airspace violation of Poland, of Romania, and Cyprus airspace is violated 2,000 times in the last 20 years, and by Turkey and Greece as well, and nobody talks about this. And we see the hypocrisy when it's something that is Russia doing it. Oh my God! When Turkey is doing it, there's nothing. So it's where is your moral compass? Where is your moral compass here? Is broken. Where is your consistency with what you are saying? So I'm trying to draw these distinctions in the European Union. But inside Cyprus, I'm trying to kind of unite the people, unite the two communities, and try to do some things to bring the two communities closer. And that's kind of what's my activity, but I'm not an expert in the Cyprus problem. I need to learn a lot more things to be able to, because there is so many things that have been agreed, we don't know exactly what's been agreed. I just know because of some things, because of the negotiators, these are not public, what is being agreed in Crown Montana and previous negotiations. So yeah, first of all, we need to be transparent with the public and explain them what is happening for them to be for a unification or against unification. So, but I don't know. They will have also illegal elections in the other side now. So hopefully we'll have a result there that is optimistic for the solution. So this will play a big role to the unification. So yeah.
Is there an appetite, or is there a broad understanding in European Parliament about the situation in Cyprus? I mean, everyone knows what happened in Cyprus, but is there a sense from your end that it's sort of confined to history and that they're willing to sort of sweep it under the rug to some degree?
So my understanding here in the European Parliament is that people know about the conflict in Cyprus. I think they support us when it doesn't go against their interest, because sometimes they have good diplomatic ties with Turkey and all this stuff, and some countries it's difficult. But, I think it's more words I hear. We're supporting you, we're with you, but there is no actions. For example, with Ukraine, we saw so many actions. Ukraine is not part of European Union, and there is 24/7 discussion about Ukraine. Of course, an ongoing war, but Ukraine is not. Why don't you take care of your own conflicts internally, and then to care about other things as well? But one thing as well, I think we made a mistake as in the past as members of the European Parliament, my predecessor and people that been here, because sometimes the only thing that we talk when we come here in the European Parliament is the Cyprus problem. So we kind of, when you hear something the same way 100 times, it becomes like a blank statement to you. It doesn't mean anything. Of course, he's a Cypriot. He's going to blame Turkey. Of course, he's a Cypriot. He's going to... So you want to win trust. You want to win trust for other people to hear you first. So how do you win trust? Is you win by being useful to them, caring about their problems, and like and not all 24/7 speak about Turkey and the occupation. Like speak about it when it's the right time, and make it like vivid. But like don't out of 100 things that you say to be the 99 out of Turkey, because then people I got bored, and I have here members still. So I have here members, I meet with them, friends, and they say, I can't stand this guy. He in my political, he always speak about Turkey. We speak about a different topic. And it's like, you see this, like we're harming ourselves instead of helping ourselves with the too much. So we need to find ways to be more effective with this on the right time, when is the right conversation, when we want to unite and to get things done. So, but you understand what I'm saying, right?
Absolutely. It's an excellent point, actually.
No, well said.
I want to say something else. Sure. So I discovered a huge thing that revolutionized my life, and I want to share it. Because I'm just a kid, 25 years old, and I don't know how to manage people. Like, I have now 20 members in my team. Wow. And it's like, how do you manage 20 people? And it's like, okay, since I was 19, I had 3-4 people in my team. And then when I was 21, 22, maybe 6, 7. And like now, I had like a year ago, 7, 8 people. So now that I'm a member and I also do some on the YouTube stuff, I still have 2 teams. I need to manage 20 people. And I need to find ways to be effective and to be a good person to manage these 20 people. So I discovered a method that I'm very excited about. Like, I heard all these CEOs have people to report to them and like to explain them. So I found this way that I'm very happy about, that it increased, I think, the productivity of the team 3 times. That every week I make a meeting with each person and I have them to make work reports, what you did this week. And we discuss it and we put the goals of the next week with each person. And like we discuss if you were successful or not. And now I can hold them accountable for them to do what they said, and also we can set together I can give them feedback and set together the next week priorities. So, I'm very happy about this, and the coolest thing now in my life is reading work reports of my team. So, it's so weird to say, but this made me very happy in my life.
Look at you go!
Well done, mate. You sound very organised. No, that's brilliant.
That's it. You'll be using Trello before you know it.
Oh, definitely.
We use Notion.
Okay.
Oh, there you go. That's even better. Fantastic stuff. Look, just to lighten the mood, we've got some rapid questions for you, rapid fire questions. So tell us what you think. Ouzo or Zivania? What do you prefer?
Nothing. I don't drink alcohol.
Wow, really?
Yeah, I'm a pussy.
Or smart.
Oh, smart. Or an intellectual. What about halloumi or feta?
Halloumi, but grilled halloumi.
Grilled, with lemon and rigani?
Yeah, rigani.
Standard.
Yeah, and some lemon.
Who makes a better coffee, Cypriots or Greeks?
I gave up on coffee like a lot of years ago, so I forgot the taste of both.
Really?
This is very impressive. Doesn't drink, not drinking coffee either.
Wow.
How do you function?
And I sleep 8.5 hours a night. So, and I exercise. I'm just, and I also eat only vegetables. I'm vegetarian.
Bravo.
And eggs. So I'm as healthy as you can get.
So no souvlaki.
No souvlaki, yes.
No? Okay.
No, I'm vegetarian, man. I'm not. Gyro is not vegetarian.
Yeah, falafel.
So tashir and
That's Lebanese.
Classic. If you had to describe Cyprus to someone who's never been in 3 words, what would they be?
The coolest hot paradise in the world.
Brilliant.
It's hard to argue with that.
Well done. Okay, what's the most Cypriot thing about you that you'll never give up?
My accent, I think, is very Cypriot typical. Also, when I speak Cypriot and Greek, I speak very hardcore Cypriot dialect. So I will never give up this dialect. It's amazing.
I love it.
So Eurovision or European Parliament debates? Which is more entertaining?
Depends if I'm watching Eurovision with my fiancé. If it's just Eurovision, then I choose the Parliament debates.
Classic. YouTubing versus politics. Which one is actually harder?
Well, for me, it was harder the YouTubing because I was doing very difficult things. Like I was buried alive for 10 days. I did a video that I didn't eat food for 30 days, only water. So I was I ran a half marathon barefoot on the snow. So I was pushing my limits through this. So it was like a very mentally and physically tougher, but this is more intellectually tougher.
Wow. Huge respect to YouTubers, Tom. What do you reckon?
100%. Look, I've got to say that, I had certain expectations coming into this discussion, but honestly, that was actually a fantastic discussion. The insights into the way that you have reached where you've reached now and combined those two things, it's actually amazing. And we heard great things from other Cypriots who have been on this show, including, again, the ambassador, Cypriot Smurf as well.
Which I believe is a friend of yours.
Yes, Peter Kipri, and a number of others who have been on the show. Mate, thank you so much for joining us on the show. We could talk to you all day. We've got 1,000 other questions here. We hope, or we will be following you very closely from here on.
My pleasure, guys. And I want to state one thing, because you are Cypriots from Australia, right? Greek Cypriots, Greek Cypriots from Australia, but this is the same. It's the same. So I think that when you are living in a different country, you are more Greek than the Greeks. We are more Cypriot than the Cypriots, because we tend to forget our culture and all this stuff because we live inside it. But you are a lot more romantic. You appreciate it a lot more when you are away. And I lived this as well. When I was in the United States, I was living in Los Angeles. I was part of the Greek community as well. I was going to church and all this stuff. And you see how much love they have, and you don't get to see Greeks inside Greek have as much love as other people have. So it's a beautiful thing.
Well, thank you. It's part of the reason why this podcast exists. And the hard thing is trying to be like that and not have rose-colored glasses on all the time, because there are real issues that we need to deal with as well. But, as long as we're all connecting, and there are so many of us around the world, Cypriots, Greeks and whatnot, this is part of what we're doing here. And mate, we have to thank you so much for being part of this. And we wish you all the best, genuinely.
Thank you, guys. So, thank you guys for watching us until the end. You are a hero if you made it until the end.
Absolutely. Well, uzotalk@outlook.com is the email. Follow us on social media @uzotalk and @uzo_talk on Instagram, also on YouTube. Nika Thanasiou, Fidias Panayiotou. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you, Fidias. You legend.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, everyone.
Uzo Talk is produced, written and presented by Tom Skolarikas and Nika Thanasiou. Our theme music is written and played by Peter Apostolidis, with additional music from George Kalapidis and Bouzouki legend Thanasis Polikadiotis.
Ακολουθήστε μας στο Soundees, στο Spotify, στο Apple Podcasts και στο Google Podcasts.